0 seconds. Mauna Loa is the largest active volcano on Earth by mass. It makes up more than half the surface area of Hawaii Island and continues thousands of feet underwater. At full force, it doesn't explode like a stratovolcano. It tears open along kilometers of fissures and releases an extraordinary volume of fast-moving basaltic lava. In this scenario, an unprecedented magma intrusion feeds both the eruption and something worse. The same magma forcing its way into the southwest rift zone is also pushing the volcano's enormous western flank toward the Pacific. A flank the size of a small country sitting above a deep failure surface that has been building toward collapse for millennia. The lava will bury South Kona, then part of the mountain will fall into the ocean. What happens after that reaches Japan, New Zealand, and the coast of California. The summit ruptures now. 1 second later, Mauna Loa's caldera, Mokuaweo, tears open. Long fissures split the floor of the summit caldera simultaneously. Lava fountains erupt along a glowing line hundreds of meters across. Volcanic bombs rain across the upper slopes. The first earthquake pulse spreads through the mountain and is felt from Kailua Kona to Hilo in seconds. Throughout Kona, people walk outside and see the mountain glowing red above them. Astronomers on Mauna Kea watch the orange horizon while seismic alarms interrupt their operations. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory's instruments jump past recent eruption levels. Scientists see earthquake locations racing away from the caldera, not upward into the atmosphere, but downhill into the rift, and begin making calls. 10 seconds later, the summit becomes a continuous wall of fire and the rift starts draining it. More fissures open across Mokuaweo. Separate fountains merge into a sustained eruption line. The caldera floor begins subsiding in steps as magma drains sideways into the southwest rift zone below. Sections dropping meters at a time, cracking apart, lava spilling into the new gaps. The eruption plume stays relatively compact. This isn't Yellowstone. The danger isn't in the sky, it's already moving inside the mountain toward populated slopes. Sightseeing aircraft that were circling the summit are ordered away. Even if they don't comply, the turbulence from the eruption column makes the decision for them. Residents in South Kona start loading vehicles before any official order arrives. 1 minute later, magma forces its way southwest through the rift zone. A dike intrusion pushes into the southwest rift zone, stretching the ground as it goes. Surface fractures cut through old lava fields, ranch land, and access roads above South Kona. Utility poles tilt as the ground separates. GPS instruments detect the entire western flank beginning to move seaward, slowly but measurably. Ranchers move livestock before the roads fail. Families drive uphill to collect relatives, while evacuation traffic is already heading downhill. Schools in Ocean View and South Kona release students into a road network that is about to break apart. 10 minutes later. Lower vents open above Ocean View. Fresh fissures split the lower southwest flank above Hawaiian Ocean View estates. Lava fountains feed multiple high-volume channels at once. Lava. The rough, clinkery type that rolls forward on a front of broken fragments, moving at several kilometers per hour on a slope like this, starts consuming dry grassland. Buildings ignite ahead of it. Power lines collapse into burning vegetation. Highway 11, the only continuous coastal road connecting the island's south and west, becomes a race between lava and the last vehicles trying to use it. People living on dead-end residential streets discover their only exit feeds directly onto Highway 11. Some visitors drive toward the glow and worsen the gridlock until police physically close the road. 30 minutes later. Lava enters Ocean View. Several lava branches move through Hawaiian Ocean View estates simultaneously, forcing residents to abandon routes that appeared safe only minutes earlier. Entire streets ignite and disappear beneath lava. Water tanks rupture as lava crosses properties. People watch their homes burn and are forced onward as new vents open farther uphill, closing options behind them. Residents cut fences and drive across private land. Some abandon cars and continue on foot across sharp lava terrain. Emergency crews withdraw because the flows are advancing from more than one direction, and there's nothing they can stop. 1 hour later. Highway 11 is cut in multiple places. Lava buries sections of the highway near Ocean View. Road bridges and culverts disappear inside the flow. The Big Island's Belt Road, the only continuous evacuation route, is no longer continuous. South Kona communities are now trapped between active lava and the Pacific, with Kailua Kona to the north reachable only through progressively narrowing gaps. Kailua Kona begins absorbing evacuees. Hotel garages and conference halls become shelters. Evacuees arrive in tourist buses, livestock trailers, and construction vehicles. Fuel stations empty within the hour. Families separated on opposite sides of the lava fields can't reach each other. 3 hours later. Lava reaches the ocean through South Kona. Different flows divide the region into isolated pockets, depending on how the terrain funnels them. Communities around Miloli and Ho'okena are cut off or directly struck. Coffee farms and agricultural land disappear beneath lava. Where flows enter the Pacific, seawater flashes into acidic steam, and unstable lava deltas form and collapse repeatedly into the ocean. Residents cut off from Highway 11 attempt to reach boat ramps. Some evacuation boats turn back when steam, floating debris, and collapsing coastline make approach impossible. People shelter on higher slopes, watching lava eliminate the roads below them. 6 hours later. A magnitude 6 class earthquake strikes the island. As the rift widens and the outer flank shifts, a powerful earthquake spreads damage far outside the lava zone. In Kailua Kona, facades and masonry fall. Cracks open across harbor facilities. A section of Saddle Road is blocked by rockfall. Water pipelines break around both Hilo and Kona. In Hilo, on the opposite side of the island untouched by lava, port facilities, older buildings, and water infrastructure are damaged before any tsunami has occurred. Hospital patients are moved to temporary outdoor areas. People sleeping outside because of repeated shaking drive into Kona shelters that are already full. Drivers reverse after seeing landslides ahead and create collisions on roads already packed with evacuees. 12 hours later, South Kona burns while the flank accelerates. New fissures open along the southwest rift zone. Fresh flows enter areas used as evacuation corridors, forcing people who thought they were safe to move again. Satellite radar confirms what ground instruments have been suggesting. The ocean-facing flank is accelerating seaward. Long fractures appear across upland roads above the west coast. The movement is no longer a slow geological process. It's happening during the eruption. People ordered away from the lava zones are told to move again because their new shelters sit below the shifting flank. 1 day later, Mauna Loa's western flank begins slipping by meters. The western and southwestern flank moves outward in a series of powerful slips. Long scarps form across the upper and middle slopes. Roads above South Kona are offset across widening cracks. Sections of coastal cliff collapse into the ocean without warning, generating local surges. The sea floods newly subsided shoreline areas. Tsunami zones are expanded before any major collapse occurs. Kailua Kona begins evacuating its waterfront and low-lying hotels. Residents who believed moving north had saved them are told to go uphill again. 2 days later, Mauna Loa erupts at full force. Lava pours from several fissure systems at once. Enormous fields of lava and pahuihoi. Pahuihoi being the smoother, ropey type that flows faster and can enter buildings through any gap, cover South Kona and Kau. Some communities have vanished beneath lava, others remain physically standing but unreachable by any road or aircraft operating safely in the gas cloud above them. Large portions of Hawaiian Ocean View estates are destroyed. Tens of thousands are displaced before the tsunami phase even begins. Rescue aircraft can't land in several affected areas because of gas, heat, and new vents opening where landing zones used to be. People waiting at Kona Airport are told flights cannot carry everyone. 3 days later, a magnitude 7 earthquake tears through Hawaii Island. The west flank lurches abruptly seaward. In Kailua Kona, partial building collapses bring facades down onto streets that are already crowded with evacuees. Cracks open across the harbor. Older structures that absorbed the magnitude 6 earthquake 3 days ago and were left standing now lose walls and stairwells. Water mains break across the town for the second time. The hospital, already operating under generator power with patients in corridors, loses a wing and has to move critical cases outdoors again. Hilo Harbor closes completely. The summit and rift erupt more violently in the minutes immediately after the rupture, as though the earthquake has opened new pathways. Rock falls close sections of Saddle Road that had been kept open as the island's only cross-island route. People evacuating uphill leave vehicles where roads split beneath them. Coastal residents who have moved 3 times already begin hesitating, until visible cliff failures above the South Kona coastline force them higher again. 5 days later, the flank begins tearing apart. Fractures extend for tens of kilometers across the western face of Mauna Loa. They're visible from the air, parallel ruptures cutting through old lava fields and roads, some meters wide, some still widening during aftershocks. Submarine instruments detect the underwater section of the flank deforming and sliding downslope. Small landslide waves hit the already evacuated coast from collapses happening almost directly offshore. Not warnings from a distant source, but the mountain shedding pieces of itself into the water beside the communities it's already buried. Thousands abandon gridlocked roads and climb on foot through lava fields and private land. Hotels in Kailua Kona move remaining occupants to upper floors before evacuating them further inland. Some people stay near the coast because every previous wave was small. Then the sea begins withdrawing in sections and rising in others, behaving the way water behaves when something enormous has moved beneath it. And that ends the hesitation. 1 week later, the collapse. Part of Mauna Loa falls into the Pacific. A magnitude 7.8 to 8.0 rupture releases the unstable sector. A massive section of the western and southwestern flank moves outward and down. Coastal land, volcanic rock, and an enormous submarine debris field failing together. It doesn't fall as one clean slab. Huge blocks disintegrate and collide, accelerating down the ocean floor, displacing an immense volume of water. A giant amphitheater-shaped scar opens in the west flank. Entire sections of the South Kona coastline disappear. Dust, steam, and volcanic gas rise kilometers above the ocean. The summit continues erupting. Communities nearest the collapse have minutes. Some roads and evacuation slopes failed during the earthquake itself. People who survived the lava for a week now face a wave generated almost directly beneath them. 5 minutes after the collapse. South Kona is devastated. The first surge strikes the west and southwest coasts, with run-up reaching extreme heights against a coastline already fractured and lowered by days of earthquakes. Miloli and other low coastal communities are overwhelmed. Marinas, shoreline roads, and remaining buildings are swept apart. Water runs far inland through valleys and coastal benches. The backwash carries houses, vehicles, lava debris, and boats into the ocean. New sections of the unstable coast collapse as the water withdraws. People climbing uphill hear the wave before they see it. Drivers abandon vehicles and scramble up bare volcanic slopes. The ocean withdraws and returns, well, not once, but in sequence. 30 minutes after the collapse. Hilo Bay becomes a second disaster zone. Tsunami waves refract around both sides of Hawaii Island and enter Hilo Bay from multiple directions. The funnel shape of the bay concentrates and amplifies the water into a city that has already taken 2 major earthquakes. Harbor structures, warehouses, and piers collapse. Containers and boats are dragged through the bay. Later waves arrive while the water is still full of wreckage from earlier ones. People watching from higher ground see the bay empty and refill repeatedly. Some attempt to descend after the first wave to find relatives. A larger surge forces them back. 2 hours after the collapse, Maui and Oahu take the next major hits. Powerful surges enter Kahului Harbor on Maui, destroying docks, vessels, and cargo facilities. Water moves through the Alawai corridor in Honolulu and tears through Honolulu Harbor, Hawaii's main supply gateway. The harbor becomes a collision zone of ships, containers, and broken cranes. Waikiki's ground floors and coastal streets are inundated. Hotel guests climb stairwells while lobby levels fill. People caught in traffic leave their cars and run toward higher ground through golf courses and service alleys. Mooring lines snap around harbor crews trying to stay with their vessels. 6 hours after the collapse. Hawaii is struck repeatedly. Water continues oscillating around the islands for hours. Later waves arrive through different channels at different heights. Honolulu Harbor keeps surging long after the main inundation. Hilo floods again when residents believe the worst has passed. People remain on rooftops through the night because authorities can't declare the coast safe. Some return too early and are caught by later waves. Thousands of tourists and residents realize that damaged ports and airports have left them with no way off the islands. It becomes clear when every flight is full and every waiting list stops moving. 12 hours after the collapse, Pacific Islands lose their lifelines. The tsunami reaches island groups across the Central Pacific. On low atolls in Kiribati, Tuvalu, and the Marshall Islands, the wave doesn't need to be enormous. Several meters of water crosses the entire inhabited strip from ocean to lagoon, and there is no high ground to retreat to. Saltwater floods generators, medical clinics, and freshwater systems within minutes. People carry children and whatever drinking water they can hold to the highest available point, in some cases the roof of a concrete building, and watch the infrastructure that connected them to the world disappear beneath the surge. In Pago Pago and Papeete, waves accelerate through harbor entrances and destroy boats, docks, and waterfront buildings. Reef passages funnel water into lagoons long after the first surge passes, making it impossible to confirm when it's safe to descend. Communities that evacuated correctly still lose the airport, harbor, and freshwater supply they need to survive in the weeks that follow. The evacuation saved lives. It didn't save what those lives depend on. One day after the collapse, New Zealand, Japan, and North America are struck. Waves arrive as repeated long-period surges rather than single towering walls. In New Zealand, the eastern North Island evacuates coastal areas before the wave arrives. Poverty Bay and Hawke's Bay experience amplified surges through their coastal geometry. Marinas destroyed, fishing vessels carried into docks, low waterfront roads flooded. The Chatham Islands, directly exposed to the open Pacific, lose harbor infrastructure and are cut off from resupply for days. In Japan, repeated surges enter Pacific ports. Fishing boats are driven into docks and buildings. Low industrial waterfronts flood. Containers and debris obstruct harbor entrances well after the water level drops. At Crescent City, California, a harbor with a long history of amplifying distant tsunamis, repeated surges destroy the port, and low shoreline in the same pattern that has played out there after every major Pacific earthquake. At the Port of Los Angeles and Long Beach, violent currents break moorings, shift ships and containers, damage terminals, and halt cargo operations. Crane operators evacuate while equipment is still moving. San Francisco Bay and San Diego experience dangerous oscillations that keep ports closed for days. People who return to the waterfront after the first small surge are caught by the stronger waves that follow. Port workers are still evacuating when mooring lines begin snapping around them. 3 days after the collapse, the Pacific crisis is still expanding. Mauna Loa is still erupting. The new collapse scar remains unstable. Aftershocks trigger additional landslides and local tsunami alerts. Honolulu Harbor operates at emergency capacity only. Large sections of South Kona are inaccessible even by helicopter because of volcanic gas and unstable ground. Oahu faces shortages because port unloading capacity has collapsed. Low Pacific Islands depend entirely on imported drinking water. Commercial shipping reroutes around damaged terminals. Cargo crews refuse to enter Honolulu until underwater debris is mapped. 2 weeks later, Hawaii remains physically divided. Lava output has declined but not stopped. Highway 11 remains buried or destroyed across multiple sectors. Fresh lava follows the new topography created by the collapse, entering areas that weren't threatened before the flank fell. Hilo and Kona operate through damaged airports and improvised supply routes. Water systems fail, where lava, earthquakes, and salt water have destroyed pipelines. Many evacuation centers have become longer-term settlements. Residents are told some areas can't be searched safely for months. 1 month later, Mauna Loa has reshaped Hawaii. Several cubic kilometers of lava cover the south and southwest Big Island. Large portions of Ocean View and South Kona are destroyed or permanently inaccessible. Part of Mauna Loa's western flank is gone, replaced by a collapsed scar and new submarine cliffs. Sections of the former coastline lie underwater. Damaged Pacific ports continue removing sunken ships and debris. Thousands to tens of thousands may have died across Hawaii. Large parts of the population remain displaced and can't simply return because the roads, neighborhoods, and coastlines they knew no longer exist. Mauna Loa didn't destroy Hawaii in one explosion. It buried the land, broke the mountain, and turned the Pacific itself into the final wave of the eruption.